Hello, Union. Pastor Jay Williams here. To be sure, we have discovered in the past few months that the church is so much more than a building. Indeed, the church is a people, and sanctuary is wherever the people of God are gathered. That being said, we are gifted as the people of Union with this building, located at 485 Columbus Avenue on the corner of West Newton in the south end of Boston, which is a gift to us. And we are taking time during this season when we're not in the building. Actually, we're taking time to renovate our building so that when we're ready to enter, it will be even more accessible. We know that our building is probably worth between $10 and $20 million on the market. So we want to, even though we're going to stay in the building to be sure, we want to be good stewards of this resource that God has gifted us with. So last year, about this time actually, late February, beginning of March, we began a process to make our building more accessible, more welcoming to our neighbors by installing an accessible entrance, a wheelchair lift, and doing some renovations to our chapel so that our space might be more of a community center, a community hub that serves the neighborhood as we seek to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. So I want to take some time to just update you in terms of where we are in our renovation. We're about 2/3 of the way to completion. You see behind me, you can see the framing and the structure for the wheelchair lift. New electricity is being installed. We've poured concrete in the basement, and it's really, really exciting. So come on in and take a look. So here is the excavation to where our accessible restrooms and shower will be down in the basement below the accessible entrance on West Newton Street. Here's some framing of the entrance area, the Williams Parlor, the hallway to the new chapel, which is also being completely redone. Here's a view down to the basement from where the wheelchair lift will be. Discovered also that the water and sewage line on the West Newton side had completely collapsed. So here is the excavation and the laying of a brand new pump that will get water from the West Newton side to the West Rutland side. Here the concrete has been poured and is being smoothed out. The fixtures for where the accessible restrooms will be. Now the electricity is being framed, and let's head downstairs. Here's a view from the basement up to the West Newton side accessible entrance. You can see the new electrical wiring. Unfortunately, we had, our building goes back to 1872, so we had knob and tube wiring, which of course is a fire safety hazard. So we have all new electrical in this side of our building. Here's the old food pantry and furnace room. Some drawings, the architectural drawings. Is the furnace room over here, where we also had to do some work to offer some structural support to the chapel, which is above the furnace. We've got new electrical inputs in the chapel as well as our offices. You'll notice that the pews have been removed, of course, from the chapel. The elevated areas have been lowered so that we can have multi-use, mixed use of the chapel for community meetings and such. So this is Cooper Hall. A lot of stuff that still needs to be removed, but here's me walking from Cooper Hall into the new area. This used to be the kitchen. all gutted out and emptied. It's going to be a conference room. There's the fixtures for the new accessible restrooms. We're about 2/3 way to completion now. Actually, we have a rough inspection happening this week. This is the pump to connect the water and sewage lines from the West Newton side to the West Rutland side. In order to connect it on West Newton, we would have had to excavate outside to connect to the Boston sewer, which would have been several $100,000. So the pump is the best way to minimize costs, but still have full usage. Here's the new electrical closet panel for all of our electrical wiring on the West Newton side. Some new structural supports. Up the stairs, there's the West Newton Street door. 3 steps up to the chapel from street level. See our vaulted ceilings above the chapel. That's the hallway to the sanctuary, which has been widened. The chapel is going to be mixed use, multi-purpose. We can use it for worship on Sunday, meetings throughout the week, community gatherings and the like. Here's the Williams Parlor. Walking into the main office, it's a little bit smaller. Storage closet back there. There's a view of the entrance.